Welcome back to the channel. My name is Abram and we are back with Football Manager 2020 and Music in Motion with Nashville SC, and today we start off with the MLS Superdraft. 4 rounds, 196 players, we get 4 picks and we also have the first pick. That's huge. We get the first pick of all these players. We're going to have a look at some of the ones that I've been sort of taking a closer look at because we've had a few opportunities to scout them out. And there's been almost like tryout sort of scenarios with like matches and physical like tests and stuff. So it's almost like a tryout this, because the Superdraft consists of players that have come from like college football sides. So not first team players. These are very much going to be sort of younger players like 21, 22 years old that haven't made it to the first team yet. And this is the Superdraft. So this is where they're going to get the call up to the MLS, hopefully. We'll wait and see who we pick. If you are enjoying the series, then do drop a like down below, leave comments, and if you haven't done so already, or if you're new, then do consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Next episode, I promise we're going to get into some matches. We do have our schedule now for MLS, so we're going to have a look at that and see who we've got before we jump actually into the draft. So let's have a look at our upcoming season, shall we? So we start off our MLS season away against New York Red Bulls. We have a few friendlies in there, you know, get some match practice in, test out this 4-2-3-1 gegenpress, and maybe change it up. Haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. Now we are in the Western Conference, which is confusing because I could have sworn Tennessee was in the southeast of the USA. Unless there's a lot of eastern sides, then yeah, well, I guess you've got all the New England sides. You've got New England and New York and Philadelphia. They're all up in the northeast, aren't they? So I guess, you know, the east-west divide has to be split into 2 of 13. So we're in the Western Conference, I guess. So that means we've got quite a long way to travel for some of these away games, especially if we go into LA. That's going to be mad. Although our first game against New York Red Bulls is against a team from the Eastern Conference, because we actually, not only do we face every team in our conference twice, we also face 10 out of 13 sides from the Eastern Conference. So there's 3 teams in there that we are not going to face. Yeah, for the first time, we don't face every team in the league. It's the first time it's ever happened in MLS, because when it was 2 lots of 12 before us and Inter Miami joined, you had 22 games against the teams in your conference, and then you faced the other 12 teams in the other conference one time, meaning 34 games. We have 34 games again, but you've got 24 games against the teams in your side, and then you've got 10 more. So we're going to miss out on 3 teams. And we start off with our game against New York Red Bulls. So how does MLS work? Now, there's no relegation, and this is the highest league, so there's no promotion. The only way you can get into this league is via an expansion. You know, Nashville have done it this year with Inter Miami also. And we've got some other teams joining very soon. We've got, I think there's a Sacramento side. I think there's a Charlotte side joining in 2022. Austin FC. That's how you join. You have to like apply, I guess. So the top 7 sides then go into essentially a championship knockout round. So we've got the 6 teams here in the first round, and the winner gets the bye into the semi-finals. So in this case, Portland, Seattle and Minnesota went through. And then Sporting Kansas City joined in the semi-finals as the winner of the conference, but Portland and Seattle went through to the final. And then Seattle won, so they went through to the final of the MLS Cup. There they faced New York Red Bulls, who won 4-2. So our first game is actually against the overall winner of MLS last season. We're facing the champions in our first game. Talk about a baptism of fire. We've also got the Supporters Shield, which is awarded to the team that over all 26 teams this season will get the most cumulative points. In that case, last season it was Sporting Kansas City. So we've also got the Supporters Shield to play for. There is also the US Open Cup. I think we joined this at round 3 as an MLS side. So we'll see how we go in this. We're expected to get to a quarter-final. I'm not sure where that will be, but we'll do our best in this. But if we look at the season preview, out of all 26 teams, we're expected to be 17th. So I don't know what that relates to in terms of our actual conference, because the teams below us may well be in the same conference as us. They might not be, but you know, in theory, if we cut that in half, we're looking at about 9th out of 13 teams. So they're expecting us to be like in the bottom half of our conference as a new team. That's kind of what they're expecting of us. Inter Miami, where are they? See, they're a lot higher up, but you know, they've got David Beckham, and I think they've probably got a lot more money than we have. We haven't got the money that other teams and other expansions have had. We've got a little bit of money in the transfer budget, 124. We've also got something called allocation money. I'm not entirely sure what that is. If we go into the rules, does it say anything about allocation money? I don't really understand what that's for. Because we've had a number of trades. We've actually made a trade, which I'll show you in a minute. But we've got the draft. But before the draft, we've got like 13 trades. Because we have the number 1 pick, people are trying to offer money and offer future picks to get the first pick that we have. So we've got 13 teams that want that first pick. So for example here, Toronto FC are offering $1.4 million from their general allocation money plus a 3rd round pick in next year's draft and a 3rd round pick in the following year's draft and 1 international player slot. So not only do you trade players, you trade essentially money and future picks to get a better draft pick in this year's draft. In this case, we're not going to accept any of these because I want that number 1 pick. So all these are going to be rejected. We did actually trade a player, so let's find that. Here we go. We got rid of Ken Trebet. I don't know, he wasn't great. Like, he was like 2-star with 3-star potential. So we've moved him on. He's a defensive midfielder. He's gone to Chicago Fire. Now the trade was for $400,000 of that general allocation money, which I don't know what we're meant to do with it, but that's the only way we could offload players is by trading them for other stuff. And since we had the number 1 pick, we didn't really need that. There weren't any players that I really wanted from them. So we've ended up getting some allocation money for him. £400,000. I don't know if that was good or not for him. We didn't really find out. We have also had a player sold for nothing. That was this guy, Taylor Washington. He wasn't very good, so he's sold. He's gone to Las Vegas. But yeah, apparently we should have got some money for him. He's gone for nothing. So that's not good for the fans. He did play 33 games in that one season, but he's not great. So next episode, we'll start off the MLS season against the champions, New York Red Bulls, the MLS Cup holders. That's going to be a difficult game to start off with, but we'll see what we can do there. But it's time for the MLS Superdraft. Now, 4 players we get from this, and they're hopefully going to be good players. Now, we have the very first pick. Now, can we go into my shortlist? Because I have put a few players in there. So, we are looking at draft players. Now, is this Eli Room one of them? Or is he not? No, he's a player for Columbus Crew, so we can't pick him. I don't know why they're yellow. I don't understand what that means. But if we go like by recommended, we've got some 74s and some 73s here. There's Ben Updegrode, who I highlighted last time, related to John down the road. He plays for Charlotte Eagles. These are college sides, so these are, much lower down in the ranks. But this guy, he's got 3.5-star potential. These are the sort of players that we are looking for. There's not really any fantastic players in here. There's some players with, decent potential, but nothing mad. So I think it's about trying to find, good coverage for our team. So I think getting a good spine and our youth ranks would be pretty good. So we're going to start off with the goalkeeper. Now, there were 2 that we looked at last time. One of them is George Elliott, who plays for Chicago FC. And he's at a 61 recommended level. He's 2.5 stars with 4-star potential. We also have this guy, Keston Lee, who is at 68. He's got 1.5 star, but he's got a lot more potential. And he's 19 compared to Elliott, who's 21. So he's got 2 years on him. So it's between these 2. Lee's not wanted by anybody. Elliott's wanted by a lot. He is one of the most popular picks, and he was actually expected and predicted to be number 1 pick. We're going to make that come true. George Elliott is going to be the number 1 pick, and it's a goalkeeper. So pick number 1 has been made. So now we go through the rest of the sides, and we don't actually get another pick until everybody else has had 2 picks. So we've had our first pick. Now, we don't get another pick for a little while. We've got Chicago and Columbus, Salt Lake, Colorado, Columbus again. So there's been a lot of trades here. So people are essentially trading players away, and they get in better positions for their draft picks. So Chicago have 3 picks in the next 15 rounds. David Williams was someone that we looked at. He's gone to Columbus Crew. He was a centre back who looked pretty good. So he's gone. He was someone that we did highlight last episode. Ben Updegrove has gone. So this is when the better players are going to start going. So Ben Updegrove has gone. So this is where we could have traded some players away to get another draft pick, because we don't have another draft pick for a while. Like, we are nowhere in here. So I don't know when we get our next pick. But let's see who else goes. Chris Martin's gone. Abu Bangura. Brendan Macias. So yeah, like, there's our next pick has just come up now. So a lot of players are starting to go. Damian Lewis, James Shilley. I don't know who these players are. These are all regens. But we're going to wait and see if there's any available that we can get from our shortlist when it comes down to our pick. But we're just going to go through these and we're going to see who's left when we get to our pick. Now, it might take a while this. We get 4 picks. Now it's time for our pick. So let's go back into our shortlist and see if there's any still there that are available. Andy Starr, Texas United. He's been drafted to Chicago, so we can't get him. Zach Wilson. He was a left winger, very determined and good potential. He's 21. He's only got 2-star current ability, but hopefully we can work on that. I think we're going to go with Zach Wilson. He's very determined, he's very quick, and his crossing and dribbling isn't too bad. We're going to go with Zach Wilson. So then we go through everybody again, and eventually it will come back round to us. Andy King has gone. Some of the names here, by the way, are brilliant. There's a player called Jack Daniels, and if he's still available in my next pick, I want to pick Jack Daniels just because that's his name. But we've just come up again now. Hopefully Jack Daniels is still available. In fact, I want Jack Daniels. Do you know what? Let's just skip to my next pick. Right, I'm just going to search up here Jack Daniels and see if he is still available. If he is, I'm taking him. No, he's gone to Portland Timbers. So Jack Daniels has gone. So again, we'll go back into our shortlist and see if anybody is still available. So Keston Lee was the other goalkeeper who has gone to Dallas. So he's gone. There's Jack Daniels. Al Pinon, has he gone? No. So this is an American with an Asian sort of name. Although he's not got any joint nationality. Ventura County. That's a cool team name. Ventura County. I don't know where that is. But, you know, he sounds like an ace player. Al Pinon had some good potential. 3.5 stars. He's 21. He's also a left winger. So maybe someone in a different position would be better. What about Lalas Abubakar? He's a real player, so we can't get him. So Pinon's the only one left that we haven't picked, but we've just got a left winger in Zach Wilson. So I think we'll leave Pinon and we'll go back into here. And what do we actually need? Let's go back into our depth. I like the fact there's no time limit here. We're not really pushed for time at all. Central attacking midfielder. We did get Juan Pablo Torres in the expansion draft. So we could get someone for there. Maybe a right back. If we've got 2 more players, I think a central midfielder or attacking midfielder and a right back could help. So let's see if we can find a decent like attacking midfielder or a central midfielder. All right, let's have a look at these guys then. Gavin Williamson. Decent young prospects, not got a great deal of potential. Can we go into this? What do we got? Danny Render, is he picked up by anybody? No, he is an advanced playmaker. He could be good. 16 determination, again, he's quick. Like 11, 12, 13, that's not too bad. Let's go with Danny Render. And I think I said a right back, didn't I? So let's go right back. We'll go no nonsense fullback because that gives you like the basic attributes. And let's see what we can find here. Jacob Wolf hasn't got a great deal of potential. Andy Starr's been picked up. Carlos Castano from Lehigh Valley. 11 passing, 13 tackling. Not too bad. Leadership's good. Jude Loughlin, another right back. Well, these are all right backs because this is where we want to pick someone up ideally. Starr's gone, so that's a bit of a pain. Castano's got the best potential and he has almost the highest with Kevin Gee. Is it Gee or G? I'm not quite sure. He's from Columbus. Let's compare the two. Let's have a look. Gee's better in the air. Loughlin's quicker and more physical. I think we'll go with Jude Loughlin. And then that will be our 4th and final pick. Jude Loughlin. There we go. Done. So that is our last pick. I'm not too disappointed with that. I guess we're not going to see sort of any other people's picks really, are we? We could have made some trades to get some earlier picks, but we didn't really do that. We only made one trade and that was for general money. So we didn't really change our picks, but we had the number 1 pick. But after that, we had to wait a while. So I'm not overly disappointed. Okay, so now we have to offer these new guys contracts. Okay, so again, it's probably going to be minimum wage, 1100. Yep. and these are reserve contracts as well. So they've got some potential and they could sign senior contracts in the future. But for now, they're just going to be essentially reserve players. We did have a youth intake. I don't know where they are because the youth academy we just got grey players. But we had a youth intake and it said earlier that it was a golden generation. Let's see if we can find this youth intake. Here it was. So guys like Jeff Davis, Andy Pinner. Although, he's at Park City, so he's already gone. I don't know what this was. Like we couldn't seem to sign people, so I don't understand that. But anyway, we have added some players to our ranks with that Superdraft. We do have a friendly coming up against Lagunera, but we're not going to go into friendlies today. Next episode, we will have our very first MLS game. This Andy Style guy was someone that was actually quite a good right back. We would have liked him, but he went pretty early with Chicago, I think. So we missed out on him. It's going to be difficult to get everybody in here because we've got to adhere to a wage cap as well. So there might be some players that we've got in that we can't fit in just because it's going to be difficult to get all these players that are on whatever wages to all be in the same squad. So that's going to be difficult as well. But I think that's a good time to end things off. So we've done the expansion draft and we've had a little bit of a look at the upcoming season. We're going to start things off next time with our first NMLS match against New York Red Bulls. It's taken a while to get here, but you know, we're learning along the way. A lot of this save is about learning how things work. So it's taken like 2 or 3 videos, but next time we'll kick off the MLS proper. And we're going to use these friendlies to see what our team is all about, I guess, and see if they can actually play Gegenpress. I'm not sure they'll be able to. It's a bit complex for MLS, I think, but we'll see what they got. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, drop a like down below, leave comments, and if you haven't done so already, or if you're new, then do consider subscribing and turning on notifications, and next episode we'll kick off the MLS season. New York Red Bulls, the champions of MLS, are going to be our first opponents, and we are being really thrown in at the deep end with our first match. On a leap year nonetheless as well. Anyway, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you for watching and I will see you soon. Goodbye.